Well, folks, in today's video, we're going to be working on this Canadian National 460 steam locomotive. This is a locomotive that a member of my train club bought at the OVAR flea market. It was being sold for $10. He bought this one and another locomotive, which I actually fixed up in a previous video. And the seller claims that it doesn't run. I haven't actually tested it myself, so I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I'm suspecting, just based on how it's looking, it's probably going to be a similar situation to the last one where the lubricants have probably just dried out and caused the whole drive to seize, but we'll have to check it out. It could be a short circuit or something like that, especially since this wiring looks a little shady, but whatever. Anyway, this locomotive, I believe, is based off of something which CN actually did have, a 460. However, I don't think they had this exact model, because if you look at the front, it's a PRR locomotive. So that's kind of unusual. But anyway, let's see if we can get this model going again. Take it over to the track, see what's going on with it, and then we'll go from there. What is it all of you are guessing? You think it's going to be a seized drive or a short circuit? I mean, I guess there's always a possibility it's some other problem, but that's what my money is on, one of those two things. Probably the seized drive. Let's give her a try. Oh, it is moving a little bit. And now we've got no current draw. Let's try cranking up the power just a little here. Yeah. Okay, check this out. Almost an amp and a quarter of power. Pretty much an amp and a half. So it is trying to go. I don't think there's a short circuit, but the drive is definitely not doing so great. Well, I'd say that test proved to be quite promising. Now let's see if we can actually get this thing going again. I'm going to be completely honest with all of you. I'm not entirely sure who made this locomotive. If I were to take a guess, it's an IHC, but I'm not 100% sure. But either way, I'm not also entirely sure how I'm supposed to open this thing up. So I'm just going to try removing this screw. A lot of engines, steam locomotives, have a screw hidden up here in the smokestack. And sometimes if you undo that, the whole thing will come apart. That, or there's one somewhere down here, but I don't see anything so far. Okay, that's a good sign. Now, it's just a case where you lift it up and pull it back. Alright, well that wasn't so difficult. This whole electrical system is not terrific. And that's certainly not turning as well as it could be. But not a horrible start. The first thing I want to check out is what the motor is looking like, because that high current draw problem very well could be related to the commutator. Now in most cases, taking the brushes out of a motor like this wouldn't be very difficult. You know, you just put some pressure on a part like this, and then you would either slide this up, or in this case, probably out this way. But unfortunately, somebody's gone and soldered quite a bit to the top of this part, so I don't think that's going to work. But luckily, recently somebody sent in this new soldering iron, so I'm going to have a go with that, see if we can unsolder it, and then we'll probably be able to get that part out and clean up the commutator. Just undid both the screws which were holding this piece on, so we can have a look under here, and it all looks pretty clean. Although instead of the axles just lying right on the chassis, they seem to be fitted with these brass sleeves, so I'm not really sure how those can be cleaned. They're not turning brilliantly either. I guess we'll just give them some oil and hope for the best. This is not, a great way to go about doing this. You'd optimally want to clean it, but might not be possible in this case. Well, let's put that back together, and I think we'll try running the locomotive, and hopefully that will just free everything up. Yeah, you can really hear as the oil works its way throughout the drive. I'm just going to add some grease to this gear right here, which is obviously connected to the worm gear, and we'll just let that spread itself out. That should also help improve it. Well, that seems pretty good at this point. I'm very happy with that. So I'm going to clean up the rear wheels because these could be causing some problems as well, but I think we've got the drive completely unseized at this point. I'm also going to just check on all the screws because I noticed that one of these was a bit loose, and that's a very common problem with these older locomotives. Usually with Rivarossis, although if this is an IHC, it's based on the Rivarossi drive, so these things coming loose could be a problem between both brands. So yeah, I'll just make sure. Oh shoot, actually this part actually did come out because it was too loose. Whoops. Alright, screws are all torqued down. I'm just gonna oil all these components here. Well, I quickly just polished up the wheels with a fiberglass pencil, and I think everything's looking pretty good. So let's take it over to the track and see how it performs. Hopefully it will start okay. Given how it performed on the bench, I think it's got a pretty good shot at running, but you never know with these things. Just because something works on the bench doesn't necessarily mean it will work on the track. Well, let's find out. Alright, moment of truth. Yeah, nice. And is it going forwards fine? Yep. That is running like 10 times better. Look how much lower the current dries too. Wow. Really goes to show you, just a little bit of cleaning, some fresh oil can bring locomotives that are 40, 50 years old right back to life. Like, there wasn't really anything that needed to be repaired on this thing. Well, I think we should get some freight cars and let it pull some stuff around. Well, here's a nice 8-car consist for this thing to pull, so let's give it some power and see how it does. Absolutely no problem. I am curious to see what kind of low-end performance we can get out of this engine, so I'm just going to gradually give it some power. Certainly not the best I've ever seen, but that's far from horrible. For a $10 engine, I think that's pretty good. Anyways, I think that's going to be about it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm very happy with the results. I think the owner of this locomotive is going to be thrilled with their $10 engine. And it was enjoyable to work on, so overall it was a win-win. But I hope you all enjoyed, and with that, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching.